We've all got pet peeves. Tell you one of mine is when people don't know what a pet peeve is. No, you talk to some people and they'll say, you know what my pet peeve is? Racism. And it's like, oh, pet peeve is something that just bugs you and not for a good reason. It cannot be something that is universally agreed to be a terrible thing. I'm sorry, I'm in South Dakota. In other places, racism is considered a terrible thing. I gotta read the room. Go back to the joke now. You know what my pet peeve is? Cold-blooded murder. When I'm in Starbucks and someone just like stabs the person in front of me to death, it's like, really? Can't you go outside? You just literally got blood on my phone. I figured out that all of my pet peeves are verbal. Like, I don't really care what people do. It's just the stuff that people say that drives me crazy. Like, you know what people say? It goes without saying. You don't need to say that, ever. I was hanging out with my best friend, and he said, well, it's 10:30. It goes without saying. We should probably get some dinner. Well, yeah, could have gone without saying, but then you said it. So no, it's going with saying. I think if you find yourself saying it goes without saying a lot, you should probably just go without saying anything to me for a while. There's a lot of guys here. I'm curious if any of the guys will relate to this because I think I'm becoming my dad. Right? Because I've noticed that I've started to impregnate women and vanish without being responsible for the baby. What can I say? That's how the old man didn't raise me. That is the exact manner in which the old man did not raise me. That joke took 22 years of therapy to write. I was hoping for a little more of it. So that's a joke I've done in my stand-up act for some time, based on true events. I grew up without a dad. But then last year, I did a 23andMe test. I don't know if anybody's done that. Probably not a lot of reason to do that here, but because it's just a lot of, anyway, whatever. But tread lightly. Be ready for surprises, for sure, if you do that. I found out that I have a half-sister that I never knew about, which is pretty cool. She has a daughter, so I get to be an uncle all of a sudden, right? I have a niece. That's really cool. Yeah, Luke was talking about that before. And but then I found out that the guy that I spent my whole life thinking was my dad, whose name was on my birth certificate but did not raise me, and who I met later in life and died a few years ago, was not even my dad. Yeah, seriously. And my biological father is still alive, lives in Hawaii, of all places. This is all true. And I went and met him in LA last year, and it's just completely just like knocked the wind out of me. You know, it's like, I've been hating the wrong guy this whole time. It's very confusing. There's a lot of people getting worked up about pronouns these days. And one side of the argument is so inarticulate, and they're not really willing to come out and say what they want to say, so they'll just say like, yeah, I'm not into pronouns. Don't do pronouns with me. I don't like pronouns. And it's like, how do you have beef with a whole part of speech? That's like saying, yeah, I'm not into adverbs. Don't do adverbs with me. Yeah, if you tell me I did something correctly, fuck you. I don't play like that. I don't think words should modify verbs or clauses. That's not natural. That's not what God intended. I am trying to be a better ally. I actually decided this last Pride Month that this is my policy going forward. From now on, I am only going to support huge corporations that are committed to pretending to care about gay people. Yeah, drawing the line. If you can't fake support my friends at their gayest, you don't deserve me at my straightest. I've generally considered myself pretty straight, but I watched that show The Last of Us on HBO, zombie apocalypse show, great show. And there's a subplot on there that's a love story between these two guys, Bill and Frank. And, right, it's just like one of the most moving love stories in TV history. It's just, it really had an impact on me, you know? And I've been thinking, like, I don't know if I would ever be prison gay, but I would definitely be apocalypse gay. You know what I mean? Like, if there's just a couple of dozen humans left on Earth, I'm probably gonna end up with one of the first 2 or 3 people I run into, you know? In the apocalypse, everyone's a 10. No, you know, if I meet somebody and they can kill zombies, do some gardening, a beard is no longer a deal breaker for me. There's been some talk about this earlier tonight. You know, everybody's talking about freedom and civil rights and what those mean. And I think we can all agree that vagina owners clearly have fewer rights than gun owners in this country, right? That's not a hot take, right? Like, it's pretty provable. And not a fan, by the way. I'm a staunch supporter of vagina owners over gun owners. And vaginas over guns, while we're at it. You can be both, but there's only one that really counts in this country. Yeah. And I'm not saying there aren't dangerous vaginas out there. There are. You know, I think some in this very room. But a vagina can only ruin one life at a time, you know? Maybe 2 in a very specific situation, but, you know. But yeah, there just aren't vaginas that are designed to fuck up 100 people at once, you know? Not so with guns. But I think I've got a pretty good solution. We've got some VOs here tonight. If you VOs can figure out a way to somehow surgically implant a gun down there, boom, you got a whole bunch of new rights, right? Congratulations, you're a gun owner. You're like a real citizen now. I'm sorry, boom probably is not the right word to use there. You don't want that thing going off. But, you know, and I don't know how you do that, you know? I'm not a vagina gun scientist or gynecologist, I guess you'd call it. But, you know, I think it would help cut down on sexual assault a fair amount, right? Sir, you put your hand down there when it's not wanted, you could lose a hand, son. You just got finger banged. By which I mean you've lost several of your fingers to a pussy Uzi. Which is very different from an Uzi pussy. That's an entirely different device. All right, thanks. Good night.
Josh DiDonato, ladies and gentlemen!